Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Nyla, and I'm coming to you with another video. So, today we're going to talk about boundaries. What are boundaries? Boundaries are basically the way that I'm going to allow you to treat me and the way that I'm not going to allow you to treat me. So, I guess the quote for today would be, people only can go as far with you as you let them. Have you ever heard somebody say you teach people how to treat you? That is so accurate. You have to set boundaries with people because otherwise they won't know like what's cool for you and what's not cool for you. So let me give you an example of a boundary. So us as the Black community as a whole, we have decided that nobody can say the N-word that is not us because we've set that boundary with them because of the pain behind it. So that's an example of a boundary. Another example of a boundary could be like in your personal relationships, like, hey, let's say, for example, like your grandmother. Let's say you're in the car with your grandmother and you know how we love that music with all the cussing and the fussing and the dancing and the shaking. You know, my grandmother, she doesn't like all of that. So she'll set that boundary with me real quick, like, hey, you know, I love you. I love you being in my company, but when you're in my company, please don't play that type of music around me. Or it could be your friend, like, you know, some friends we could go up to and be like, what's up, bitch? You know, I meant to say the big word, but I ain't gonna say it on here because it's kids on here. But you know what I meant to say. But then some people, I could say, what's up, B? And then I could get smacked in the face. You know, that's that boundary. You teach people how to treat you. Like, you all know that it's cool for some people, you know, to do certain things. But then for sometimes it's just like you can't do the same thing with the same person. So we have to set those boundaries. Why set a boundary? Shouldn't people already know? I know that's what you're thinking, right? But the answer is no. So think about it from this point of view. So we were all raised different. We all have different traumas. We all have different triggers. We all have like different things that we've been through culturally, you know, that puts us at the point that we are. And so it may be cool for me to, you know, talk to you this way, but the next person that I may meet in my life, they may not be cool with it. You know, like for some families, they cuss each other out, but it's all out of love, and that's the way that they communicate. But if you don't want somebody to talk to you that way, you know, then you have to set that boundary. The first step is on you. You have to let people know like what offends you and what doesn't offend you. You know, like for some people, I can do a yo mama joke and they think that is so funny, but for some people, I can do a yo mama joke and you know, they want to fight, you know, so it's up to you to set that boundary because the first time that they break that boundary, a lot of times is very, very innocent. So we have to give people that little bit of wiggle room. But if you set that boundary and they still continue to disrespect you, then you may have to evaluate what kind of place that you want them to have in your life. Because obviously they don't respect you. They value their ego more than they value your mental health. And that's always not fair. The only people that will get mad about you setting a boundary are the people that benefit from you having none. And so if you've been a long time, or it's been a long time for you and you've been allowing somebody to disrespect you, it may be kind of hard to set that boundary at first, but you got to stand your ground. So you got to give people consequences. Like, let's say, for example, let me think of a boundary that I have. I really don't like when people... I'm thinking. If we're not like super cool, I really don't like when people pop up at my house. I really just do not like that. And so a way that I can set that boundary is, hey, you know, it's not that I really don't want to spend time with you, but I really don't allow people to come to my house unless you give me some notice because I like to clean up and I want it to be presented well. So maybe if I'm cool with it the first time, I may let them come, but I could just say, you know what, maybe the next time that you want to come over, can you just let me know in advance? Or for example, like with my therapy schedule, like I really don't like when people book the same day appointments. So I could just say, you know what, hey, like, it's not that I don't want to be your therapist. I love being your therapist and I would love to see you, but just give me some time so that I can get myself together. I can get my thoughts together and I can get to a therapeutic place in my spirit so that we can both have the most beneficial session. You know, like it doesn't have to be like a FU thing. It can be presented very well and put in a pretty package, and it'll mean the same thing. If you don't set boundaries with people, people will drive you crazy. They will literally make you their slave and you will bend at their will because you didn't set that boundary. You have to teach them how to treat you. Hey, you know what? I love you so much. I think that you're a beautiful person, but can you please not touch my hair? I know that our hair is different, but maybe I'll let you touch my hair at a later date, or maybe I'll let you see a wig or something, but I really don't appreciate when you touch my hair. And if somebody set that boundary with you, even though it may hurt your ego because you're so used to doing it with other people, because you don't know their background and you don't know their traumas, if you respect that person, you have to respect their boundaries. Like, for example, like I have a friend who I didn't know that she had been through as much sexual trauma as she has been through. And so when we're in a party, like, and it's a lot of people, the first thing I want to do is like kind of grab her so that like we don't get separated. But one day she just was like, you know what, hey Bree, like I really don't like when you grab me that way. Can you please find another way so that we can stay together? And at first I was just like, you are totally tripping, because all I'm doing is I'm trying to stay safe in here. I'm not trying to grab you in a hurtful or derogatory way. I'm your friend, you know, I love you. Like, I was offended. But then I had to think about it for a second and say, like, I don't know like what she's been through. And then eventually she sat me down and we talked about, you know, her past sexual traumas and how that can give her PTSD and make her think of some things that she may not want to think about. So you have to be able to respect others. You have to be able to love yourself enough to be able to understand others, because your relationship with others is really a reflection of your relationship with yourself. Okay, so let's talk about what will happen if you don't set boundaries. So if you don't set boundaries, you're going to have a really hard time trusting other people. You're going to be unable to form close relationships. You're going to have a hard time saying no. You're going to be overly involved in other people's problems because you don't know how to set that boundary and mind your own damn business. And you're also going to have like a huge fear of rejection, and you're going to be susceptible to abuse or emotional abuse because you can't stand up for yourself. Your biggest advocate always has to be you. Nobody can read your mind. So make sure that you set those boundaries. And it's easy to think that all relationships are going to be bad relationships and not want to be in a relationship if you're not establishing boundaries with that person that you're in a relationship with. And that's not just like a, you know, boo-boo thing relationship. I mean, just in all relationships. You know, like I'm not going to want to continue to build friendships with people if I feel like all my friends just ask me for money, and if I don't, you know, use me for money, or, you know, if I feel like all my friends just talk down to me and they don't respect me. It's less likely that I'm going to be a social person. I'm going to be a friendly person. I'm going to want to make more friends because I haven't even established boundaries with the friends that I have now, you know. So make sure, establishing boundaries are good for the world, good for the soul, good for everybody. And if you have good boundaries, you're going to be a great communicator. You are going to have values and morals that are uncompromisable, which is a beautiful, 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 if I could say beautiful 100 more times, I would, beautiful thing, you know. And you are going to be able to take no as an answer. It's okay. You know, like you have to be able to take the word no as an answer, because you know what? Everybody has the right to say no, just like you do. So, and you know, if you're a hustler like me, you know that no doesn't mean no. It just means find another way. You will. Okay, so that is really like all I really have to say about boundaries. I just kind of gave you guys the basics. Hit me up and let me know if you guys have like any like specific situations and you need like a good little sentence so that you can build that boundary with that person, no matter how difficult that they are. And you know what? My best advice is to always start with a positive. Always start with a positive. Hey, I love you so much. I love you so much, Queen. I value your existence. I appreciate you being in my life. I appreciate all the things that you've done for me. But I would appreciate it more if you didn't call me out of my name, or when we argue, you don't talk down to me in front of people, or when you cook things, you don't cook them with pork. and give it to me. You know, like you can set a boundary for whatever you want because this is your life. You are the what? The master of your reality, and this world is yours. And I'm sorry, guys, something else I forgot to mention. I want you to think about it like this. Ask yourself when somebody asks you to do something, am I doing this because I genuinely want to do this? Or am I doing this because if I don't do it, I feel like the other person will be mad at me? And if the answer is really the second one, then it may be time for you to start saying no. Trust me. Look, it feels so good. I used to have a really hard time with saying no, but girl, guy, whatever you identify as, I love it. I love it now. Like, I love it so much. Like, you can ask me to do something. I may really want to do it. I might just say no just to see your reaction. You know, so just say no. Like, it feels good. Like, it may feel weird your first couple of times doing it, but that's only because you're not used to doing it. But trust me, no, hell no. And then just one more thing too is, just like how we set boundaries with other people, never be afraid to set that boundary with yourself. And that goes for your negative thoughts. So like when you are starting to beat up on yourself and say mean things to yourself, or think self-defeating thoughts, or thoughts that just kind of put you in a bad place, like you may have to draw that boundary with yourself and say, look, negative thoughts, not today, Satan, not today. You know, like we always think of the devil as this red being, you know, that only comes when something super traumatic happens. But no, the devil is in all of your negative thoughts. So to be able to categorize what kind of thought that you're having and shoo the devil away. So love yourself, love the world, and bye for real this time.
Negus, known as royalty from Ethiopia. Negus means kings. A real Negus haunt dreams. Ancestry reincarnated in my heartstrings.